ziua, dragilor! Astăzi am alături de mine o universitate internațională, o universitate din Spania, care ne va oferi informații despre motivele pentru care să studiez în Spania și care sunt costurile, cum este vremea la ei și care sunt posibilitățile de angajare după absolvirea universității. O am astăzi alături de mine pe Miriam. Welcome. Can you please tell me what university do you represent?
So I represent the best university in Spain called University, and yeah, I'm the manager in the Department of Global Markets, and I take care of Central and Eastern Europe as part of my region.
And the full name of the university is?
University. IE stands for Instituto de Empresa, which is a Spanish word. It means business school, and then we shorten it up because since we are very international, we wanted to make it sound like more English, let's say.
And you said that it's the best university in Spain. What do you mean by this? Do you refer to a certain ranking or to programs?
We actually are number one in terms of having international students amongst all other universities in Spain. We just recently ranked as number one. And also, not to discourage or disregard other universities that are in Spain, but in terms of international student body and teaching methodology, I really believe that IE stands out compared to other unis in Spain.
But why it's important for a student to consider this criteria when they are looking for a university? Why it's important that the university to be international, and what body of international students do you have?
I'll start with the numbers. We have 75% of students that come from all over the world, and only 25% are Spanish. And the reason I think it's very important to keep this detail in mind when students are applying for universities is for networking and also for broadening up their minds and horizons, because when you meet people from different cultures, it gives you a different understanding of the country. You just broaden your knowledge. You might travel to their countries and you have people that are based there, so it's something that's very valuable, and you don't get it in anywhere else unless you study in a very international university. I was a student myself, and so I know what it feels like to have the network all over the world, and everywhere I travel or everywhere I go for work or for just leisure, I always have some people in different countries. And honestly, when you're 18, it might be a little bit hard to understand, like, oh, why should I study in an international university? But once you grow up and you start traveling and you start meeting people, you see the value, and this is something that I can give students, and it gave to me as well, and I'm eternally thankful for this opportunity. And in terms of numbers, again, we have over 60,000 alumni all over the world, so once you become the member of IE, it's forever. So yeah,
60,000.
Yes.
Okay, alumni.
Yes. But not for undergrad, but for the whole university, right? For masters, MBAs, and undergraduate, because we do different programs. Yeah.
Okay. I want to highlight the idea of the international students. I talked recently with a student who is not in an international university. I mean, it's an international university, but doesn't have a big number of international students, and she was not so happy at that school because she was saying that doesn't have a lot of activities, because there are not a lot of activities for international students. She struggled with having friends, because the ones who are nationals, like from that country, they are more like in their groups. So it was a little bit a struggle for her in order to be part of certain groups and to integrate in the international environment, let's say, of the student body. So that's why I believe that it's very important that your school has only 20% the rate of Spanish students. And you mentioned before we started the podcast that your university sets a limit for to have only or to have maximum 25% Spanish students, right?
Yes,
I understood correct.
We have some quotas, yes, for because if we want to maintain the international student body, obviously we cannot have majority of Spanish students. The students that we accept from Spain are amazing. They're great, and they're also quite open-minded when it comes to studying at IE, because they know they're coming to a very international school. But then again, you are very right. It's just a normal thing. You stick with the people that you feel more familiar with. So in that case, Spanish people. But yeah, we have over 75% international for that purpose, and we sort of not have a lot of Spanish students, just to maintain that international environment, and for other students that come from all over the world to feel comfortable as well, and not to feel like a minority.
Also, you mentioned about the networking, and you said that you have the alumni are around 60,000 students.
Yes.
And this means this might be a lot of opportunities for the students who are coming now. If they want to maybe to get a job after, they can refer to the alumni, or if they have a certain issue, I suppose they can refer to the alumni, and so on. And it's very important to have these kind of connections all over the world, because maybe tomorrow you are going to start a business, or you are in a certain job and you need some connections from around the world, then it's very easy to connect with the other people which have like the same educational background, and they understand you and they support you. Do you have there are any events in order to connect the present students with the alumni?
We do actually have events, and just a matter of fact, we have 30 offices all around the world. So we don't
30?
30, yes.
30, okay.
Yeah, so all around the world. So we have 2 or 3 in US, then we have a couple in Latin America, we have offices in Asia, in Europe, Middle East. So yeah, we're spread all over the world. And the reasoning behind this is for these offices to organize events that include alumni, interested candidates, and well, for students that would be mostly Madrid, but like we also do events all over the world. So once a student graduates and they become an alumni and they go back to their country, they can always come back to IE and can always participate in these events. I'll give a good example of a friend of mine. He is Italian and moved to Georgia, and now he's looking for jobs in Benelux, and he reached out to the career person that we have in that region, and he's going to attend a couple of career coaching sessions that they're going to give, and also networking events, because there will be IE alumni there. He's going to fly there for that purpose, to attend this event to find a job there. And obviously, like, this is something that's very special and unique, because in that networking event you will have profiles that did MBAs and they're super high, high managerial positions, and also undergraduate profiles that are like more junior. But then you meet so many people, and obviously, like I told him, I'm pretty sure you're going to find somebody that will give you a referral or give you some sort of idea of how to enter their company. So yeah, we do a lot of events, and thanks to our alumni, we have very high employability rate. 95% of our students have a job after graduation.
95. This is very good.
Yes, it's a very high number, and this is thanks to the talent and careers team that does amazing job. The students, obviously, because if they weren't great, I don't think just external help would help. And then thanks to the alumni, because I always tell students, reach out to them on LinkedIn when they're looking for jobs. Try to get referrals, and they're very friendly, because once they see that you are part of IE family, they always help. And I've seen that on myself as well when I was trying to look for internships and jobs.
Also related to the number of the alumni that you said, like they are like 60,000 of them. Since when was founded the university? What is the background, the history?
Founded itself, and it was a business school in the 70s. But then they added more programs, then they added masters, and undergraduate has been around 13 years. So it's relatively new, but the brand of IE has been there for quite a while, and we've been growing and developing, because we give good quality education, and we've proven that over the years already. So yeah.
So you have good results for a school that it's quite new, and we see that you can invest a lot in your students. What about the career offices that you mentioned? So when a student graduates your university, or during the university, he has support, or how do you support students in order to get a job after graduating the university, apart the academic programs and the teachers and all the systems that you have? I mean, like the support in order to be in touch with the employers.
So first of all, once they start the university, we start with basics, because they have to have a good CV, they have to know what format to use, and also a lot of companies are right now doing AI screening of CVs, and we also teach them, and we have other services that we use that they learn how to build the CV to first of all pass this AI screening and then to pass HR. Afterwards, we train them for interviews. We send out newsletters on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, depending on the job opportunities that we have on our portal. So we have our own career portal where we upload the possibilities of internships and jobs, and also once they move forward with their studies. So first and second year would be mostly summer internships, and later on, as part of the study plan, they have the possibility of doing a full-time internship. And obviously, talent and career teams, help send out different opportunities that we have, and then they help them to pass the interviews or assessment centers, because we also have simulations on how to do assessment centers. We have companies coming to campus and meeting our students and recruiting them. We have talent fairs. Actually, I think right now one of them is happening at the end of February, and these big multinationals come, and our students go there and meet them and network with them, and then they start the process, and we help them throughout the whole process. Also, when it comes to training them on how to do the interviews, they can also do one-to-one sessions. They have a mentor from the talent and careers team, depending on the let's say the sector they want to go to, and we give them all kinds of support we can. In addition, we have other programs such as shadowing program. We have some partnerships with different companies where our students go there for a month just to get an idea what it feels like to work in EY, for example, or Deloitte. And then for a week they stay with the senior manager, and they sort of like follow them throughout the whole day, and if they like the candidate, they offer them usually summer internships, and then the summer internships are usually converted into a full-time internship and then to a full-time job. So that's we have multiple initiatives. It's up to the students to be more proactive, and we're helping them in every way we can.
It's good that you have a lot of opportunities for them, and it seems that you have a lot of support for them in order to integrate them, since they are already a student, since they are already students before they are graduating. So this is good, because this is going to build also their CV after, because when they are going to graduate, if they will have like an internship, they will have already experience, and would be easier for them to be accepted by an employer. And I have here another question. Usually an employer considers positive the fact that the student studied at your university, being a private one. I'm asking you, this would be my question, because afterwards I want to add something else.
We actually ranked as fifth in recruiter satisfaction worldwide. They're quite happy, and that's why every year we're strengthening our partnerships with the companies and adding more, because they see that we prepare very good students, and they are equipped not only with knowledge but skills, and that comes from our practice-based teaching methodology, and they know how to work in groups. They know how to work on projects, and it's not something new for them. So they're quite happy with our graduates, and our graduates go to top companies like Google, Amazon, L'Oreal, consulting firms, and many other.
You said that your university is fifth for the recruiter satisfaction. What does it mean, this recruiter satisfaction? What are their criteria? What they are looking for in a graduate? Like what kind of skills?
I think that's better to ask the rankings, because I'm not quite sure what are the actual let's say criteria that they use, but I usually say this to sort of give them the idea that recruiters are happy with our students. I don't know exactly what they mean by that,
but in general, what an employer is looking?
Knowledge, skills.
So knowledge, okay.
Yes, knowledge for sure, because if they want to work in finance, they should be pros in finance, and then skills as well, because our students do a lot of group works, and they work with people from different nationalities, and they have the soft skills on how to deal with people from different backgrounds, and that's something that's very essential when you start working, because everything is done in teams. No matter if you're a junior or senior, you always have to deal with people, and a lot of the processes when you apply for a job includes those skills, and they're like your logics on how to deal with people.
So from what you're saying, you are confirming that soft skills in general, they are very important when we have to take a job. I am saying this based on the fact that in my podcasts and in my discussions with students, when they have to find a job, they all the time they told me it's not enough to have only knowledge. Also, it's very important to have maybe leadership skills, group work skills, flexibility, and so on. And yesterday also I went to an event where it was discussed this topic about employers and employees, and what an employer is looking for an employee. And they said that for them it's easier, and they would prefer to take a person who maybe doesn't have so much knowledge, but if it's someone flexible, wants to learn, has all the soft skills that you mentioned, then it's easier for them to build up and to become like a great employee than a person that has the knowledge, like strong knowledge, but that doesn't have all these soft skills. And here I want to ask you, because this is very important in nowadays. How do you help students to develop these soft skills during the university?
So I will start with the teaching methodology that I mentioned a couple of times, which is basically based on practice. So our students, our students have to work a lot in groups, and they work on projects. They also do a lot of case studies, which is basically, solving some sort of a problem or seeing a success or a failure case of the company. And they usually have to analyze those scenarios that they're given in the case studies. They also do a lot of simulations, and this is done mostly in groups and sometimes individually as well. So yes, they develop their, how to work in the ambience of different people from different backgrounds in those groups. So that's one thing. Also, our professors are practitioners, and they also, tell them how important it is to have those skills, and they also implement it in their classes, right? So they're free to do their own syllabi, and they come up with their own grading criteria, etc. But since they work and teach at the same time, they also know the value of those skills. So in most of the classes, they have to do presentations, and also some group projects as well. And in addition, they also have mandatory classes for skills, for example, presentation skills. Because I feel like in 21st century, it's impossible to survive without being able to, speak publicly. It doesn't matter if it's like 10 people or 100, but you have to know how to present. Actually, I had an amazing professor, and even though some time has passed already, but I still remember his tips on how to present. So every time I'm presenting, I always have, his Javier's words like, okay, stand like this, talk like this, don't move your hands. So they have classes on those skills, and this is how we help. So through projects, through professors, and through mandatory classes that they have to take.
Super. This is very important. I'm happy they have this kind of support from you. And I didn't know the idea of mandatory class for presentation skills. This is extraordinary. And why I'm saying this, because we recommend to our students, all the students who are coming to us and they are preparing to us, we recommend them to have a debate activity. And sometimes students, they are saying, but I'm applying to computer science, why do I need to do a course on debating, a debate course? And we explain them exactly what you said, that you need presentation skills. Doesn't matter in what program or field you are going to work or study afterwards. So this is very important. So we are on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah, here. I'm happy about this. And you said about the teachers and that are practitioners. What does it mean?
So practitioner, it means that they're working and teaching at the same time.
Okay.
And that also, we chose it like that because we want to enhance our practice-based teaching methodology. So they also bring, practical examples from the outside world, from their experience to the classroom. I was a student myself. I had professors that were working Google, Amazon on, top managerial positions, Coca-Cola and many other multinationals. I had also professors that were, traveling. So some of them were working in Hong Kong and they were like traveling there and coming back. So these are, the kind of profile of professors that you usually have at IE.
I'm happy to find out about all this information, this useful information for the students. what I want to ask you as well about the programs. I saw that you have a variety of programs from computer science, business. What other? Can you please tell us in some few words what programs do you have in English for the bachelor? I mean,
yes.
For the
So
bachelor
all
ones.
the programs that we're offering are in English.
Okay.
So none of the bachelors that we offer are in Spanish, and we have quite a wide portfolio. We have well, our flagship program is business because when I say IE, most of them are like, oh, I want to study business, but we have amazing other degrees such as architecture, design, computer science, and artificial intelligence, as you mentioned, data and business analytics, international relations, law. We are actually launching 3 new bachelors this year. So it's applied mathematics, bachelor in urban studies, and bachelor in sustainability, environmental sciences and sustainability. We also have well, there's so many. We also have dual degrees, and these are special programs that allow students to do 2 bachelors at the same time, only in 5 years. And they, instead of studying 8, they study 5, and they get 2 different diplomas. And it's not doing a major and minor; it's doing 2 majors at the same time. And as I said, graduating with the 2 diplomas. I personally did the dual degree of business with international relations, and I would say that if a person is very clear on what they want to study, for example, I have some people that are very sure they want to study in finance, so a business is great for them, or they want to go into NGOs, international relations is perfect. But then there are some people that are good in more technical subjects, but they also like history, for example. So dual degrees would be a perfect choice for them in order to combine the 2 different fields that they feel passionate about, and also it will open more doors in terms of employability because they can work in business area or international relations or law or any other dual degrees that we have.
So I'm happy about the information that you gave me. You have 4 years of bachelor degree, and then only with 1 year you can study a dual degree. So if I'm not decided as a student, if I want to study, as you said, international relations or business, then I can have both of them with only 1 year in addition. So this is great to find out. What I want to ask you also about the programs is why should I study 4 years? Why should I come to you to study 4 years? Because in general, in Europe, the bachelor programs are only 3 years, and with you is 4. Why 4?
Well, first of all, because we give the students the flexibility of, either going a semester abroad, or sometimes it could be up to 1 year, depending on the program that they're doing, or also do a full-time internship while they're studying with us. And obviously, with more experience, they have higher chances of, being liked by the employer. So we have over 200, we have exactly 200 partner universities at the moment where we send our students for a semester or 2, and then they can choose, they have to apply to get into the university that they want to go to. They choose usually 3, and our students go to either their first or second choice. And then if they don't want to do an exchange, they can also do a full-time internship. And in that case, I talks with the company, and they arrange the topic of the credits, because we have to give them credits while they're working, and they get full-time experience of work, and then usually it's a very big plus upon graduation to get a job, to be employed, because they will have summer internships and in addition a full-time internship as part of their studies, and then go into the job market with a job offer already.
Yeah, this is important to have already experience prior to graduating the university. And regarding the programs, as you told me that you have a variety of programs, how do you keep up with the requests of the market, of the job market? Because usually the students, they are saying, or the majority, let's say, of some people, they are saying that okay, yeah, but why should I go to university? Because the information is not updated, or when I will graduate the university, the information that I will be taught from the teachers from the school, it's already outdated. So how do you keep up with this request?
As I said, we started with business, and then we added, more and more amazing degrees that we're quite good at. And the reason why we add more and more degrees is because we see and we investigate what's the demand from the job market. Because, as I said, we have 95% of employability, and we want to make sure that, we keep this rate or, even go up. And if we don't keep up with the demands from the job market, it's going to be hard for our students to get employed afterwards. So that's why, we do our research, we see where is the gap in the job market, and then we try to fill in that gap with our graduates. For example, we're launching 3 new bachelors this year. So we're launching urban studies, applied math, and a bachelor in environmental sciences and sustainability. And the reason why we came up with these bachelors is because after doing a lot of research, we saw that, there was a big demand for people that were experts in city planning or, topics around problems of the city or urban planning, etc. And there was a gap. So in order to fill that gap, we decided to, come up with this bachelor urban studies and, fill it with our graduates. Maybe not a gap is not the right word, but there was like a lack
there was
a lack of experts in that field, and we want to make sure that we prepare those students to become experts in that field. Or same for sustainability, it's becoming more and more relevant nowadays. We saw how horrible this summer was with global warming, unfortunately, and like more and more companies are putting more initiatives in that area. So they will need people that are experts in that area as well. And applied math is because usually when students study mathematics in their undergraduate degrees, they usually go more into like academical. So they do a PhD and then they start teaching. But there are so many ways math can be applied in businesses as well. So we want to make sure that to help the students that are passionate about mathematics, not just to go in the academic direction, which is like the normal one after you study math, but also to use it in work in corporations afterwards.
It is good that you pay attention to these details, because otherwise you are not going to exist on the market in the next years.
You need to stay competitive. So.
Exactly. And to bring value to the students and as well to the employers, because in the end, everything that you are doing, like the job that you are doing, is going to impact our daily life, because they are going to work in afterwards. Okay. Yeah. What can you tell me about the locations? I saw that you have several locations. All the bachelor programs are taught in all the campuses?
Yes, we have 2 campuses, one in Madrid and another one in Segovia. And all the bachelors are taught in both campuses, except architecture, that is taught for now only in Segovia, but we're trying to, diversify it as other degrees and do some years in Segovia and some years in Madrid as well. It really depends which bachelor they go for, but the general rule for most of the bachelors is that students have the option to study in Segovia first, so do their first 2 years there and then move to Madrid and finish their last 2 to 3 years there, or they can do the whole bachelor program in Madrid, or all 4 or 5 years. Segovia is a pretty beautiful city. It's only 25 minutes away by train from Madrid, and it has a lot of UNESCO heritages in the city, and the campus is also quite historical. It dates back to 13th century. It was established as a convent. Later on, it was a hospital, orphanage, and centuries later we took over the building, and now we have the university there. On the other hand, Madrid's campus is very modern. It's a tower in the business center of Madrid, and we inaugurated the building in 2021, and we had the King of Spain attend the ceremony, something that we are really proud of. Even though the building was there, it was finished before, but we couldn't open the campus because of COVID. We only managed to do the official ceremony in 2021. And the campus are quite fun, and we have a lot of facilities there. We have swimming pool inside the tower, for example, sports playgrounds for basketball, football, volleyball. We have gym, some classes like yoga, spinning, Pilates, CrossFit, etc. And also, some rooms for music. We have music club room where they have all the necessary instruments like pianos, guitars, cajon, drums, etc. If in Madrid it's more like concentrated inside the tower. In Segovia it's more spread out, so it's more like a typical campus basically of the university.
And which is the biggest one?
Madrid. It has bigger capacity. Yes.
How many students are?
So Madrid has the capacity of having over 4,000 students.
4,000?
Yes.
All masters and bachelor, like
no,
all the students? Or
actually, for bachelors, we only have these two campuses, but we have a separate campus for masters and MBAs in Madrid only, and it's around 15-20 minute drive from the tower. So the tower and the Segovia campus are only for undergraduate students.
Okay.
And Segovia is smaller, obviously, than Madrid. We have around 1,500 students in Segovia, and then the rest are in Madrid. So Madrid has bigger capacity, yes.
what about the accommodation? Do you own your own accommodation? They rent accommodation? What is the process?
We have a residence in Segovia inside the building of the university, and we have two partner residences that are like 5-7 minutes walking distance from the university. And then, there are options of, finding a flat on their own as well. We don't have a housing crisis. It's quite easy to find flats in Spain. And we usually give them recommendations once the student is admitted and enrolled, which platform to use. We have one platform which is actually founded by IE alumni. It's called Beyond Campus, and it gives the possibility, to reserve the flat online, and it has like a bunch of videos and photos. And also in Madrid campus, we don't have the residence inside the tower, but we have partnerships with different residences all over Madrid. The closest one is around 20-minute walk from the tower, and then there are others that are like more further away, but we have a metro close to the university. And students usually commute either by metro or by bus as well, and we help them to contract these residences, whether it's our own in Segovia or the partner ones. We have a department which is called Student Services that help our students, to relocate basically to Spain with housing. Also, the students that need visa, we also help them with the procedures, and everything that's related to moving to Madrid is done by us, or we assist the students, to put it better way. Yeah.
Okay, good to know that they have accommodation. You have your own accommodation in Segovia campus, you said, inside, but also you are working with partners in Segovia and in Madrid. Then you don't have your own accommodation, but you have some partners, and the closest one would be the 20 minutes walking from the university.
Yes.
Okay, and what about the admission? So we understood until now that you are indeed a good university, like an excellent university, and we should come to you, and the reason why we should come to you. What about the admission? I understood that last year the admission rate was, the acceptance rate was around 37, and this year maybe decreased because there are more students who are applying to your university. And I just want to add here the fact that in Netherlands at this moment there is a challenge with accommodation. More and more students, they are looking for universities in other countries, and it doesn't happen only to your school, but also we saw this to other schools over from Europe. So what about admissions? What is the avatar or the profile that you are looking from a student? What are the main points when we are talking about admission? Like it's file, tests?
Yeah. So I'll start with the process and some key facts about the process. One is that we don't have deadlines for the admissions, so it's on a rolling basis. But obviously, when students ask me, so that means I can apply anytime? Yes, but I usually recommend them to apply with time. So don't apply, or try not to apply by July, let's say, when the studies are starting like end of August, beginning of September. Because we have sometimes waiting lists for certain programs, and in order to avoid that problem, it's better to apply early, even if we don't have deadlines. That's one key fact. The second is that it's fully online, the whole process, so the student doesn't have to move anywhere, like come to Spain. They can do everything from their home. And the third is that we have holistic admissions approach, which means that yes, grades are important, and we of course have our minimum requirements when it comes to entering the university. But we look at other things such as extracurricular activities, volunteering experiences that they've done, anything outside of class. Maybe they're professional athletes, or they like singing and they want to continue that, and we want to see the achievements that they've been getting throughout the years. So yeah, these are like three key facts. Now, when it comes to the process, we have 4 steps. of the whole admissions, and the first one is the online application, the second one is the admission test, the third one is online assessment, and the fourth one is the personal interview. I'll cover each and every step more into like details. So the first step is the online application, and this is where all the documents go. So the student has to fill out personal information. They have to provide their CV, transcripts of last 3 years, also 2 recommendation letters that should come from the professor, college counselor, or the head of school. There is a part which is called Express Yourself, and we have 3 questions there that we give to our students, and they choose one, and they either write an essay, record a video, or they prepare a PowerPoint presentation.
So this should be the motivation letter.
Yes, it's like a motivation letter, but it's more, let's say, we want them to be original. That's why we give them the option of doing the video or the PowerPoint presentation, because some kids are very good at writing, but others are are better at editing videos or better at speaking rather than writing. So we give them that option to record a video. Or some of them are very good at Canva, and they prefer to do everything in the format of presentation. So that could also be an option for that. So yeah, that's like a motivation letter. And also, if they have any diplomas or certificates, there is a section which is called Other Documents, and then they can upload them there.
Okay.
So that would be it about the online application. The second step is the admission test, and this one goes 2 ways. We accept a couple of, let's say, external admission tests such as SAT, ACT, or LNET. The most common, from what I've seen, is SAT, and the minimum requirement for SAT we have is 1,200. But if a student doesn't want to take any of the admission tests and don't want to spend a month preparing for this test, they can also do our own admission test we have, and it's fully online. The student just has to register for it, and it's done online as well on a platform with the Zoom camera and microphone on. And it has 3 parts. It has a verbal part, analytical, and numerical. And the good thing about this test is that it doesn't require preparation. So they just have to basically register and write it. I don't know if anybody has ever heard like, oh, I prepared for the IE test, or I had a professor that helped me to prepare for the test. This is not really the case because it's impossible to get ready for IGAT. And yeah, so that would be it about the second step. The third one is the online assessment. This is a video interview with the platform called Kira. They receive a link from us that they have to open. It has a practice part where they can, play around a little bit with the platform, see how it works, what kind of questions they'll be getting. And then once they start the final exam, if we can call it like that, they only have one chance to do it, and they record it, and then they send it out. When they finish the first 3 steps, our admission team goes through, all the documents and the videos and everything that have uploaded up until that point, and then they decide whether they should invite the candidate for the interview or not. And that's the last step, the personal interview. We call it personal, but it's done over Zoom, so no need to fly to Madrid for that. And it lasts around 30 minutes, maximum 45 minutes. And this is the place where we try to see whether there is really a fit between the university and the candidate, and also why they want to study that bachelor, and also some key questions that we have based on their CV and things that they have done previously. This is where we take the opportunity and ask them everything. So yes, that's the whole process. Once the 4th step is done, in around 10 days, maximum 2 weeks, we let the candidates know whether they got into the university or not.
You seem to be very organized, like the university, all the process is very, very organized. And I'm saying this for the fact that you have all the steps very well, let's say, aligned, and also the fact that you give the answer in 10 days after they had the final step.
Yes.
But you have a lot of steps for the admission. So the first part, you said, okay, the online application, and there is the essay that you can do it in the standard format, like writing a letter, motivation letter, or a video.
Yes.
Which is I don't know. Here we will have to ask our consultants to see what other university has the video in the process application. This is good, because there are students who are very charismatic, and
I recently
like you
saw
have
one
Philip.
video. Oh my god, yeah, Philip was very charismatic. Yes, he's. I think he did an essay, though I don't think he did the video. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember it that well because thank God we have many applicants from Romania. But he was definitely an outstanding one. I will remember him for quite a long time. But then I recently saw one video of a girl that really I was shaken. I was like, wow, this is an amazing video. I think if she wrote an essay, it would not have been that good. She recorded like a song and then sort of like explained with this song why she wanted to come to AI.
So what you're looking in the motivation letter, because there are a lot of talkings around the motivation letter, and people, the students are scared usually when they have to do it. Should be a more classic one. Why should I apply to you, to your university? What is my motivation, and what is my knowledge, and how I prepared on that specialization, on that subject? Or can be more a holistic approach about my story, let's say.
So it can be quite original. That's why we give them, 3 questions. They can choose whichever they prefer to talk about, and also we don't give them like an exact format. So it's not like a very typical motivation letter. It's more of us giving them the space to talk about their achievements or their challenges or why they want to apply to IE and make it work. It's really up to the student to decide, and that's also why we give them 3 different formats, because we are very flexible and we want to get a better understanding of who they are by this motivational letter, rather than very like a standardized motivation letter. I want to study this because of this and this and this. No, we want something more holistic and more original in that part.
Okay, so to come from to be authentic and to see the identity of the student.
Exactly.
Okay. Also, what I want to ask you is about the SAT. You said that you have your admission test or the SAT, and you said 1,200, but usually we know that it's not enough to have this this score in SAT. Do you recommend one of the other? If I will take SAT, I'm going to be more, let's say, seen by the admission.
The thing is that obviously, as you mentioned, it's the minimum, but then the higher they have the score, the better. I can't really recommend any because we treat them equally. The only difference between SATs and ACT or LNET and our admission test is that we don't share the results of the IE admission test with the students. So if they don't feel comfortable with the fact of not knowing how they did on the admission test, we keep it internally. Maybe it's better for them to take SAT. That will make them feel safer. But in terms of the flexibility and the ease of writing it, because it doesn't require any preparation, I would recommend IE admission test. So because I've had students, when I recommend them IE admission test, they're like, no, like I want to be sure and be prepared for the test, and that's why I'm taking SAT. I'm like, it's your choice. If you want and if you feel more comfortable like that, do it. But if I were in their shoes, I would do IE admission test, because I've done SAT before and it requires a month of preparation, and then you might not get still the result that you want, and at least with that, you can't prepare for it, you just do your best and that's it. I mean, IE admission test, yeah.
Okay, you recommend it from the point of view of preparation and difficulty of the program, but it's equal treated in the admission process. Okay, and about the interview that you mentioned, the 4th step, what kind of, let's say, what kind of questions should they expect? Might be frightening to have an interview. Usually it's the first time in their life when they have an interview.
Actually, one thing we do with the students that move to that stage is that we usually send them an email with the 2 or a couple of videos from the tips that comes from the admissions managers on how to prepare for this interview. And basically, we ask them to be honest, first of all, to not be scared, because, we're just trying to have a normal conversation with them. It's not like they're passing an exam or anything. And then some of the questions that they should be expecting is, first of all, why they chose that degree, and like what is their area of interest, and why, let's say, communication and digital media specifically and not any other degrees. Actually, when you apply to IE, you can apply up to 3 degrees. So maybe they can ask like why that is your first priority and why the other 2 are like your second and third priority. And then also any questions regarding their CV, for example, if they've been playing soccer professionally for a couple of years, or they've been singing and they won a competition, we might ask them, tell us more about how you got to that point, what was your experience in that competition or any tournament that you participated
Okay.
in. And also we might give them suggestion because we have a lot of clubs at IE based on their hobbies and their interests, and tell them like, oh, if you want to continue doing this, we can join, let's say, music club or the football club that are super active at IE. And yeah, so questions about the degree, about why IE University, and we also want to see how much they know about us, questions about their background, and then then it's up to the admissions advisor or the manager to decide what they ask, because we don't have set questions.
Standards. Okay.
It's more, again, we're quite flexible. We want to touch upon some key aspects, and then the way we do it is very individual.
I understand. Thank you very much for all the information that you provided us. My last subject would be about the fact that you are a private school. In Romania, we have some private schools, not all of them, but some of the private schools, and the idea as the Romanians is the fact that private school means, when I'm talking about university, means not equals not quality.
Okay.
But if we look outside our country, if you look in United States, the majority of the good schools like Harvard and so on, these are private schools. If we look as well in other countries in Europe, some of them are very good schools, but they are private. So abroad, there are universities who are excellent when we talk about education, and your school is also a private one.
Yes.
How much is the tuition for a bachelor program? And what can you tell me about private education? Is this an investment, and people should see this as an investment?
Yes, you are very right. We're a private university, and the tuition fees at IE are 25,000 for the normal degrees, because I mentioned dual degrees. The 4-year programs are 25,000 and the dual degrees are 30,000. So why should people be investing in this kind of education? Well, first of all, you are very right. The best universities abroad are private universities, and we are one of them. And I would say that why they should invest in IE and not to other private universities is I've been talking about the teaching methodology a lot, but it really is the practical, practice-based teaching methodology, because I've seen my friends that went to other universities, even in Europe, that are quite well known and prestigious, and their timeline of studies or how they were doing the classwork was very different from mine. And I feel like I was learning more by having assignments and group projects and things to do with people on a regular basis, and not just focusing on midterms and finals. That was giving me more knowledge, because my friends, they're smart people, they're great, they went to amazing universities, but the study process was different. They were like, September was more, calm, and then they would prepare for the midterms, pass them with good grades, and then they would be back on, a more chill period, and then back to the finals. This is not what IE stands for. We really think that students learn more by doing things throughout the whole process, and the knowledge stays in the long-term memory rather than the short-term memory. So I think, the money that our education costs at IE is really worth it, because they will be getting good knowledge and also very special teaching methodology, amazing professors, and also the network worldwide, right? And the possibility to be employed by the top companies all around the world.
So the conclusion is that your school and in general education, it is an investment.
Yes.
That they are going to get return afterwards, considering that you have 95% of your students, they get a job after graduation, and you are considered 5th in the recruitment satisfaction at this moment. Okay. What about the scholarships? Because I know that one of the students from us received already a 25% scholarship from the tuition fee. What can you tell me about this subject?
So first of all, in order to be able to apply for scholarships, the student has to be admitted to the university.
Okay.
So they receive the admissions letter, and then they start the financial aid application.
Okay.
We have over 20 different types of scholarships that we offer.
20?
20, more than 20, yeah. And then the student, when they're filling the application, they have to choose 3 out of the 20. And if the scholarship committee grants them the financial aid, they will only get 1 of the 3 that they chose. Grades are very important for scholarship application, and we also ask them additional information, how they're planning to finance their studies, how much they need to be financed from us. There is a question in the application that they have to fill in. On average, we give out from 10 to 40 or 50% to, good students. And then, that's more or less about the financial aid, I think. Do you have any more specific questions?
No, this was all.
Okay,
thank you. Așadar, am aflat astăzi de la Miriam care sunt motivele pentru care să studiem la această universitate. Miriam fiind o fostă studentă a acestei universități și care lucrează acum pentru universitate pentru a oferi din experiența ei de student internațional și de a împărtăși din aceste informații valoroase. Mie personal mi-a plăcut universitatea. Noi avem studenți, elevi care aplică în fiecare an la această universitate și avem feedback pozitiv. Deci recomandăm această universitate pentru voi, dacă o luați în calcul pentru universitățile din afară. Și informațiile pe care le-am auzit astăzi de la Miriam au fost așa. Ea ne-a spus că este considerată numărul 1 în Spania ca universitate din punct de vedere a studenților internaționali. Spunea că doar 25% dintre studenți sunt spanioli și este important să vă uitați la aceste aspecte atunci când vă alegeți universitatea. Uitați-vă în podcast și vedeți de ce sunt importante aceste detalii. De asemenea, ea ne-a menționat că este numărul 5 când vine vorba de satisfacția angajatorilor cu privire la alumni, la cei care au absolvit studiile la această universitate. Apoi a menționat despre ce avantaje are sau cum vă pregătește piața, cum vă pregătește universitatea pentru piața locurilor de muncă, să fiți cât mai bine pregătiți. Și Miriam ne-a povestit că se lucrează pe studii de caz la universitate, profesorii sunt persoane care au joburi în acest domeniu, deci nu doar vă povestesc din teorie, ci și din ceea ce au aplicat deja. Asta înseamnă că pot fi și modele bune pentru voi, dar și voi veți înțelege mai bine când învățați informații de la cineva care a mai făcut deja asta. A spus că sunt ore obligatorii în care voi învățați cum să faceți prezentări. Și spuneam noi că asta este extrem de important în orice domeniu pe care voi ați aplica, pentru că veți avea nevoie de un astfel de skill, inclusiv la interviu de angajare. Este o prezentare și acolo, e o prezentare a voastră în fața angajatorului. Apoi, ne-a spus că există programe de 4 ani și programe de 5 ani. Există o varietate de programe de la arhitectură, computer science, business, relații internaționale și există varianta de 4 ani care include internship opțional sau exchange program în altă țară și varianta de 5 ani în care poți să studiezi 2 specializări în același timp. Adică, practic, termini cu dual degree, adică 2 diplome pe aceeași specializare, adică faci un double major. În cazul în care nu ești foarte decis, e o opțiune foarte bună să iei asta în calcul. De asemenea, Miriam ne-a povestit despre locațiile universității. Există 2 locații în Madrid și în Segovia. Ambele sunt destinate pentru studiile de licență. Campusul din Madrid este mai mare, campusul din Segovia este mai mic. Ne-a spus că în Madrid sunt în jur de 4.000 de studenți, în Segovia în jur de 1.500 de studenți. Este important să iei în calcul aceste numere atunci când vei considera la care dintre ele să aplici. Nu uita că doar specializarea de arhitectură o găsești în Segovia, în rest toate celelalte sunt în ambele campusuri. Apoi ne-a spus că există cazare doar în campusul din Segovia, cazare proprie, în rest, în campusul din Madrid au parteneriate pentru cazări și cea mai apropiată de cazare este la 20 de minute walking distance de campus. Ce mi-a povestit interesant, ne-a spus despre politica de admitere și ne-a explicat că sunt 4 pași de admitere. Ai odată aplicația online care conține un eseu sau un video la alegere pe 3 teme date de către ei. Aici e important să știi că poți avea ajutorul unui consultant educațional în tot procesul de admitere. Apoi ai testul de admitere, poți să dai testul lor sau SAT-ul. Aici recomandăm să dai SAT-ul pentru că îl poți da de mai multe ori sau recomandarea lui Miriam să dai testul lor pentru că este mai ușor. Acum aici o să recomand să discuți cu un consultant sau persoane care au trecut în proces să vezi ce variantă să alegi. Apoi varianta 3 este, a treilea pas în proces este acest online assessment, unde vei avea de făcut un interviu pe o platformă online, iar punctul 4, după ce ai trecut de primele 3 etape, vei fi chemat la un interviu în persoană, pe Zoom, cu un reprezentant de la universitate, unde ei vor să afle mai multe informații despre tine și să vadă că dacă toate cele pe care tu le-ai pus mai devreme în dosar sunt într-adevăr autentice. Așadar, Eu personal iubesc acest tip de admitere pentru că universitatea aceasta nu te pune într-o schemă, într-o cutie, să spun, da? Și te lasă, îți spune am nevoie doar de medii, ce ai făcut efectiv în perioada liceului, pentru că știm cu toții că mediile nu reflectă într-adevăr realitatea și nu reflectă cine ești tu. Și această universitate se uită la mai multe aspecte, te consideră din punct de vedere holistic, vrea să cunoască care este povestea ta, cu ce ești tu practic special în acest proces de admitere, că chiar dacă nu ai activități care au legătură neapărat cu domeniul respectiv, dar ai făcut un sport de performanță și ți-a ocupat asta timpul în mod special sau, știu, o altă activitate, poți să vii și să justifici asta, de ce prin sportul respectiv tu consideri că ești o persoană potrivită pentru specializarea respectivă. Deci îți dă o flexibilitate și asta este foarte important pentru că ei văd omul din spate și nu te introduc într-o cutie anume. Asta e un lucru extraordinar pe care eu îl recomand. Adică de asta și recomand universitatea. Iar ulterior am aflat că universitatea este privată. După cum știți, în străinătate sunt foarte multe universități private, așa vă spuneam și în Statele Unite. Școlile cele mai bune sunt private, Ivy League-urile sunt private și e normal să investești în educația ta, iar costurile la ei sunt în jur de $25.000 de euro pe an este taxa de școlarizare pentru programele de 4 ani și aproximativ 30.000 pentru programele de 5 ani, acolo unde termin cu double degree. Ne-a spus că există și burse, au în jur de 20 de burse, dintre care poți să alegi maxim 3 la care să aplici, așadar are o serie de beneficii pentru care să le iei în calcul. Datele care pe mine m-au impresionat în mod special și pe care eu, dacă aș fi astăzi student, le-aș lua în calcul, ar fi așa. Faptul că sunt 95% șansă să 95% dintre studenților și-au găsit un job, sunt numărul 5 pe satisfacția angajatorilor, asta mi-arată că ei sunt mereu în conexiune cu angajatorii și sunt mereu actualizați cu ce este nevoie pe piața locurilor de muncă și de asemenea mi-a plăcut foarte mult că pun accent pe partea asta de soft skills, că mă pregătesc pentru viața reală pe mai departe, pentru că pot să am internship la ei și atunci iar mă pregătește pentru viața reală pe mai departe la universitate și nu în final și bineînțeles faptul că vede și omul din mine, adică nu se uită doar la mediile mele și vede și omul din mine. Asta este extraordinar de important. Îți mulțumesc foarte mult că ai fost astăzi alături de noi. Miriam, thank you very much for being today with us and I wish you to have success with all your visits in Romania.
Thank you so much for having me and thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking about AI with you and looking forward for next cooperations.
And I would like to invite you to share with us your opinion about this video. If you'd like other type of information, we will be in contact with Miriam and I will answer to you in the shortest way. Thank you very much and have a nice day.